This conference will now be recorded.
Okay, so just a big welcome for everyone again joining us today for another exciting session. We are so glad to have Richard and Michelle with us again from Black Khaki today that will do the session. So I don't think you guys need any introduction anymore. So it's just so great for you guys to assist us again today. So I'm just going to hand over to speaking first, Richard. So yeah, I'm going to hand over to you and you can start. Just before you do, just help for everyone, please just make sure your microphones are all muted. And if you do have any question, you're more than welcome just to type a question in the little bubble box that's on the top corner there. Otherwise, you're welcome to switch on your camera and then also just to lift your hand, and then we'll take questions afterwards as well.
Cool.
Perfect. I just want to quickly, before Richard starts, just say today's our last session on the schedules received. So Richard will also handle this one, Google Business and Reviews. And just, if we don't get to it at the end of the session, thank you very much for all the sessions. And please feel free to still contact us after the session. And last week we had great chat sessions after Richard's presentation, so please feel free to do that. I'll have a look at the little comment box, and at the end we will definitely be able to answer questions again.
Cool. Thank you so much, Michelle. And if you'll alert me if there's anything urgent popping up while I'm talking, because I might ignore anything that goes on in the periphery, that would be great. So good to be back with all of you. Thanks for inviting us again. I'm going to jump right into it. The Google Business and Reviews section for today. Quick recap, what we did in the previous sessions. All of these really lead up to where we are today and to finally getting your presence online established and optimizing if you are already online. So we looked at brand and community. We also looked at content planning and scheduling, which is specifically for your social media channels. And we look at how you could grow your social media following on your social channels and at boosting posts, mainly on Facebook, but also touching on how every channel has its own ways and methods of doing that. Today, obviously, is Google Business and Reviews, and starting with a big question, in case you don't know, is what is Google My Business? Simply put, it's a free and easy to use tool for businesses to manage their online presence across Google, including Google Search and Google Maps. So whenever you type anything, search in any search term into excuse me, Google, it will give you different levels of results that it will present to you. And this is typically, if you type in a business, how it would look. You would have, I typed in Sorbet, and it gave me at the top, gave me the details there, the national website with all of its different sections. And it also gave me a little section here on the right, which is where my business section will appear when you do a search. So just going to go into that a little bit more detail. The reasons why we would like or encourage you to use Google My Business. So in 2019, the average South African spent about 8 hours and 25 minutes on the internet each day. That obviously in recent times have gone up because we've all been in lockdown and we are not so social and we don't go out. So the usage in 2020 has gone up. And it probably will stay so for a while longer. Whatever the outcome is post lockdown in terms of the COVID-19 epidemic, is that the trend is forecast that the online audience has grown exponentially and will have a greater stake than it had pre-COVID-19, because people got more acclimatized to spending time on the internet. Some people got more used to the idea of internet shopping. And doing banking and e-commerce online because they couldn't do it in real life. So there's likely to be a retention of a section of the audience that wasn't there before. If we look at, excuse me, Google is also the go-to for users to search and discover products and services in their area. So that's automatic. If we don't know where to find something, if we want to do a price check, we all jump on Google. We even use the word, let's Google it. So the top 2 accessed sites in South Africa last year was google.co.za and google.com, which is obviously the international American version. So those are the 2 top sites that people go to automatically, and that's obviously why that is where, if they want to get information on a product or your specific product or service, is where they'll probably start. Up to 86% of consumers use Google Maps to look up local businesses and look at reviews, attributes, photos featured on the Google My Business listings before making a purchase decision. I think you can just think about yourself. If you're looking for something in your local area, you will go to Google and you'll probably see the 3 top local ones and look at the ratings, even if it is just at a glance. So the benefits of using Google My Business is that it helps you manage your information. So firstly, obviously, we need to determine the information that Google users find when they search for your business products or services. And this will include your contact details, which is obviously the most important. You want them to get through to you. A link to your website, if you have one, your business hours when you're trading, your address, your physical address, if your store is a predominant touch point, map on the location on the map, so people can follow Google Map directions when they're driving, and images of your business to show what you do, the interior, the exterior, your staff, etc. Just gives personality and a presence and a human face to the business. As a verified Google My Business user, you are twice as likely to be considered by consumers than if you're not. So it's very important when we look at this information is that you own this information and you must always make sure that it's updated and correct. And it's very important that you do appear on Google search, because that gives you a competitive edge against local businesses who don't. When we're looking at the idea of photographs, businesses that add photographs to their business profiles are 42% more likely to get requests and directions on Google Maps, and they're 35% more likely to get click-throughs to their websites than businesses that don't. Having pictures and images there just projects a professional image to the public. It says that you're an established business, that you're serious about doing business. Then when you look at somebody who hasn't uploaded images and you're not sure of the reputation, or you're not sure if this is a trustworthy establishment. So giving a human face and a visual presence with your logos, etc., does give your business an edge in terms of how people perceive it. The second reason why this is Google Business is a great idea is because it gives you a chance to interact with your customers. So yes, you can also do that on social media, but that is not the point of decision when people have made a purchase decision or are looking into making a purchase decision. Social media is more for people to casually research and to interact. When somebody is on Google searching for a product or a business, they are actually actively looking, and that's why it's important to be able to interact with them there, whether that is through answering their questions or queries, or whether through reviews. It also helps you to understand and expand your presence online. User journey insights will help you tremendously see how customers have reached your business. Have they done so through search? Was it a local directory that referred them to your site? Did they click through from your social media links? Did they go directly to your homepage and find you in that way? These things are important because it will help you actually determine how and where to advertise as well, because if you know where your customers find you, then you know where to place ads. User demographic insights are also great. It gives you insights into how what your consumers look like, help you with your consumer personas, which we've spoken about in all 3 previous sessions. Also tells them demographic, it tells you geographical area that they're coming from. Are they in your immediate area? So should you run ads, for example, in a couple of kilometer radius, or are they more from neighboring suburbs? Should you maybe do your targeting when you do it a little bit wider than you're currently doing it? So these things are all very helpful to actually improve your online presence and also to actually optimize your advertising and your communications online. The fourth aspect is that it improves your chances of prime online real estate. Now, what I mean with that is just where do you sit when people are actually looking for a product or a service. And a very important aspect in this is what is called the 3-pack area in Google Maps results. In Google searches, that the first 3 listings are typically reserved for the Google AdWords advertising or paid search, and we'll have a look at that now. And next, you'll typically see a map with 3 local results highlighted. And then followed by that, you will have the organic results. So if we look at this, this is the example. If we type in this case, car accident lawyer, you'll see that the top rated ones are paid for ads or cost per click ads, which is basically Google AdWords, and you pay to have those displayed. This is actually a topic for a different presentation totally, because it's quite an extensive field, but this again, like everything else on Google, has to do with relevance, and you will also always be served with local ads above ads that fall out of the region, depending on the relevance of the ads. Here, as we mentioned, is the map, and you can see there are 3 locations, and then those 3 locations actually correlate to these 3 local businesses, which is called the local 3-pack, which is ideally where you want to show up when somebody types in your offering or your service or your business name or anything in that in the semantic search field that relates to what you've got to offer. And then, as we can see here, we start getting the organic, the unpaid for results, which is totally based on relevance of the search term that the user has put in. So how you appear here has got to do with your relevance in terms of content, your relevance in terms of the search that the user has put in, and also your relevance in terms of geography, how close you are to the person who's looking for a particular service or a product. And that is one reason why being on Google directory is such a good business decision to make, pardon me. So you don't pay to appear in the local 3-pack, which is great news, of course. You could appear in potential customers for search results for free by just actually being registered, having relevance to their search queries to come up on the top end of that search result, which gives you a really good competitive edge against any other organic listings that might appear in people's search. Right, so we're going to look at setting up your Google Business Profile. I'm just going to do this quite broadly because the steps set out by Google are quite thorough, and they have help at every level of these steps. So just to give you an oversight of what these steps would typically involve, instead of actually sitting here and setting it up for you, it is quite simple, and there is also a Google My Business Help link, which is in this presentation, which we will share with you. So first, you do need to have a Google account. If you already have a Gmail, then you already have a Google account. So that is part of the process which will be done for most of you, I think. If you don't have a Google email for your business, then you'll have to you can either create it from your personal Google account, or you can do it from a Google business account. You've got to then, obviously, once you've got your profile set up, sign into the Google My Business link, which you will find if you search that. We'll also leave it for you here in this presentation, and it's a live link. So when you get the PDF, you can click it and it will take you straight there. So if you're an established business, chances are that your business already exists on Google My Business directory and you'll need to claim it. And this might sound alarming to some people. What is my business doing there? I didn't add it. There are a couple of different reasons why you might already be on Google search. Local directory is if you are on any local business directories, for example, you will probably have a listing on Google My Business. If your site is verified, website is verified with Google, then chances are good that you will also, and you have an address on there, then chances are good that you will be on there. Anybody that tags you on the map, if a customer has visited there and they plot you on a map, or any third-party GPS map, if they drop a pin on WhatsApp, that is all the stuff that Google actually crawls to make sure to see and find out where businesses are. Another way that you could end up there is basically just through your social media links, where you have an address that Google has picked up. This is where your business are. So there are various ways that Google can determine where you are located and the reason why you might already appear on there, even if you haven't put yourself there. The most important thing to do, however, is if you entered your business name and you see you're already there and you're already listed, is to claim it. So if you're not there, you add your business. If you are there, you claim it. If you're there, then it's easy. You just click and follow the instructions to verify that you are the business owner. And there are, of course, a set of steps that you will go through on the Google platform, which will include you doing a kind of a postcard, mailing it to yourself, and then it'll send you a verification code, so that which once it arrives at your physical address, you then have to enter into Google My Business, and then that's how the verification process works. If you're not listed, then basically you've got to actually add your business and go through the same process of verifying your ownership. So a few Google, excuse me, business do's and don'ts that I just want to highlight is relevant and correct information. So one of the key criteria for Google's ranking of business listings is relevancy. Now, we touched on this in previous sessions as well. So not only does it mean that you need to have relevant content on your website and not have misleading content, but it also means that you're going to show up on Maps and Google My Business when it is relevant to the search terms of whoever is looking for the service. Make sure that your information is correct and correctly describes your business. So make sure that you've got the right keywords in your description. Your title is very important, and it should contain the name of your business to actually make it more traceable for Google to actually link you to the right business. I don't know how many of you might have actually come across the idea that if once you search on Google, you'll find that sometimes there is a business in a neighboring town that actually has exactly the same as your name as you. So having your details correctly and always having your address in that and your title in the search in your listing is very, very important for people to get to the correct place and the correct business. So listing information, do's and don'ts. You should add relevant keywords or keywords in your description, which will include the name of your business. And adding these important relevant keywords in your title is important because it identifies the main service that you offer, it identifies location, and is vital for showing up on consumers' searches. What you shouldn't be doing is to stuff your title with irrelevant or unnecessary keywords. This is often called keyword stuffing, and Google actually penalizes people who do this in a way that comes across a bit spammy. So if you try to cook the Google system of relevance by adding the same keyword repeatedly, especially in places and sentences where it doesn't make sense, artificial intelligence bots actually picks up that stuff, records it as spam, and then will penalize your ranking in Google search. So again, the keyword here is relevance. Yes, make sure you've got the right keywords that people will use, but use it in a way that feels natural, in the way that people would write and speak normally. Don't try and put as many keywords in a sentence just to think that you're going to rank higher. If you have any queries on how to, or any difficulties in terms of Google, setting up your Google My Business account, we've added to you here. You can either Google My Business Help, or you can, when you get this presentation, just click that is a live link and it will take you to that page online. Right, just checking time, we're still good. Google reviews. A Google review is basically a public online customer review of a business or a place that will show up in the search results of local listings. And you have to have a Google account and be signed in to leave a review. So typically when your business appears, if you're lucky enough to be the top ranking business, in this case it was quite easy because I looked at Johannesburg Botanical Garden, then you'll see under there is a rating, and they also show how many people, based on how many people's reviews that rating appears. It also has wonderful goes to ClickSign, directions, save, which is great. So this is if you're one of the business, if your business comes up top in one of the top 3 and people click on it and this appears, then there's almost assured that somebody will probably consider you strongly for a shop visit or consider your business seriously. There are a couple of reasons why Google reviews matter, and I've looked at the 7 top ones in this to us to look at the moment. And one is that it increases your online exposure. So again, it's another place that your business will appear when people search for it, or even if they search for competitors, if you're one of the top 3 listings with a matching keyword. The second one is good reviews serve as customer tutorials. Customer tutorials obviously is a great sort of stand-in for online word of mouth that actually tells people that you are trustworthy. People trust peer-to-peer reviews, so it's always a good idea to encourage people to do reviews. We'll do a bit on that, but also obviously to get good reviews should be one of the things that you should strive for. Excuse me. It influences the purchase decisions as customers' reviews increased consumer trust. So obviously, if you think for yourself, you're looking for to buy, say, second-hand furniture, off the top of my head for that one. 3 shops show up. One has got a 5-star review, one has got a 3-star review, and one has got a 2.5-star review. You are most likely going to go for the 5 than the 2.5. It just makes sense. We'll click on that one first because people have indicated that they trust their business, that they're reputable, and that they deliver a good service. It also improves click-through rates. As I showed earlier on the previous slide, there is a button there for your website, and people are more likely to click through on a business that has a rating than one that hasn't got a rating, or one that has a good rating versus one that has a weak rating. Number 5, it boosts customer conversions. So conversion generally is either buying a product or visiting the store or contacting the store. So a good rating and having a review will encourage people to contact you, as opposed to you not having a review at all or having a weak review. The 6th idea is looking at good SEO that will influence your listing position in local search results. Again, we've spoken about search engine optimization. That just means that we are actually relevant to the customer search, that we've got the right information on our websites that match the customer search, and the fact that you will then be registered for a local Google directory will give you a chance of actually being a better chance of showing up, because Google wants to show trustworthy information to customers. So it will prioritize registered local businesses above non-registered local businesses. Number 7, it provides valuable feedback that can help you improve your service or product offering. So reviews can be, I think, can be scary. It can be a scary idea for some people. But if you know that your product is good, your staff are well trained, your offering is unique enough, and that your business is top notch, then there should be no reason to be scared of reviews. And even if you get a not so good review, then actually replying to it will clear up any inconsistencies, where as opposed when somebody rants to their friends or on Facebook, you might not always pick it up if they don't tag you. So this is one way of actually managing feedback online. We will look at how to deal with negative reviews. So without further ado, I'm just going to have a quick sip of water. Right, so we're looking at managing your reviews. So you should view Google reviews, as I mentioned before, as an online reputation management system, or a form of online reputation management. It is the online equivalent of word of mouth. One of the tips is to always, and actually not a tip, it's really a must do, is always respond to reviews, the good and especially the bad. If somebody gives you a good review, say thank you. And expand a little on their treatment. Maybe we're so glad that you enjoyed your deep facial and to come back. So it's a way of acknowledging a good response, but it's also a way of actually putting out your offering there for other people who's going to read the reviews. If you get a bad review, obviously, especially you have to answer it. And we're going to look specifically at what to do with bad reviews. Keep in mind that your responses will be visible to the public and will appear below the review you respond to. So if you comment on any review, it will be public and it will be there for everybody to see. So that is very important. Which brings me to this very important point, which I think some people will be very glad that we're addressing, is managing negative reviews. I think it's almost inevitable that if you have a review system, somebody is going to be unhappy at some point, whether it's your fault or not. We know customer complaints. Along the line, somebody's having a bad day, that you didn't quite do the treatment the way that they would normally like it, and then they go on a rant. It might not be your fault. It's the end of a long line of terrible things that happen to them, and they just feel like venting at you. So it's almost a certainty that you're going to get reviews that are less glowing, if I can put it that way. But there are ways to actually respond to them. And the 3 vital tips to keep in mind when responding are: respond kindly and be nice. So there's that old thing of if you want to respond to somebody, breathe 10 times or write it down, read it, and come back to it 2 hours later and read it. So don't ever respond in the heat of the moment to a bad review. Actually analyze the situation, see what went wrong, try and see the customer's point of view, although it might be difficult, and try and frame the answer in such a way that it addresses what could have been their frustrations or their pain points. And then, as I said, be kind and be nice. Never go on the defensive, which is the next one, because or make it personal, because that is just going to escalate the exchange, which is on a public platform. You don't want to actually you want to resolve it with one comment rather than have a protracted fight with a customer. And then the last one is keep the response brief and to the point. Rather get them to call you or come see you in store than to continue this conversation online. So you actually want to basically acknowledge that they were unhappy, try and see what could have been unhappy, and suggest that they call you for a solution. You want to stop this conversation online as quickly as possible. And that pretty much also goes for social media responses when you have to do it. Rather get them to call you or come and visit you in store so you can resolve the issue. reporting a bad or defamatory Google review. So it's not all doom and gloom or bad news if you get a bad review. Unfortunately, there's no way that you can actually delete a negative review yourself. Good news is Google does filter reviews and tries to prevent spam reviews before they show up on your profile. And then also another important thing is that you can actually submit a defamatory or fake review to Google for review by going the flag as inappropriate option in the review section. So you're not helpless when it comes to bad reviews. There are things and measures that you can do. You can appeal to Google. As I said, they also actually look for fake reviews that people will post. So you are not so completely thrown to the wolves. So you can actually do something about that. If I think number one, you couldn't resolve it online, or two, it is so fake and so bad that you actually can't. If it's a competitor, the malicious competitor, that you can report it. Right, a few Google reviews do's and don'ts that I'm just going to touch on. Ask your loyal, trusted customers to review business and share photographs. This will definitely mean that the content that people put out there are people that you trust. Anybody can post a picture of your business and upload it to Google reviews. So you want the stuff that's good from people you can trust to be there first and to be the topmost. Don't add fake reviews. You can either get dropped down from the results or even banned by Google if you do so. So again, Google constantly has what they call spiders that crawls the internet, and they pick up through artificial intelligence, do pick up suspicious behavior. So if everybody in your immediate family suddenly goes and puts a glowing review on your business, Google's going to pick it up. And penalize you. In worst case scenario, as I said, that you can also get banned. Then also consumers are savvy enough to spot and call out a too good to be true review or string of reviews all in a row, and this will damage your reputation and also your trustworthiness. So just never actually do that, but do ask loyal customers out of their own accord to actually go and put reviews on your page. Don't ever ignore complaints or argue with complainants online. We just addressed that. You don't want a public spat on Google. It's there for everybody to see. I've at this section, and I just quickly want to see what we are like for time. Yes, we're still good. So if you don't mind, I'm quickly going to return. I put this in so that we can, if I have time at the end, I can quickly discuss with you how this local SEO search appearance works. So I'll be very brief so that we have enough time for questions. So SEO or search engine optimization for local searches has got a number of factors that determine your ranking in this local 3-pack search, but also in the organic section. And the most important of that, 20% in fact of that counts for that ranking, is your on-page content. You need to have quality content, number one. And secondly, it needs to be relevant to what you claim your business offers and to what you in fact sell. So in that sense, your on-site content counts for the most. The same obviously goes also for how it ranks, whether it is actually relevant to the search term of the consumer. The second biggest contributor in terms of percentage is backlinks. Now backlinks are not that easy to get. Backlinks are other sites that link back to your website and refers to your website almost as a kind of authority or a go-to. This does not include local listings. This is something like having a partner, having your partners or your suppliers linked to your web page, or people like, for example, let's say there is a beauty and health blogger that refers to your business. This is not the same as an online review. It's another website that links back to your site. So that's one of the trickiest ones to actually manage, and it's the second most important, but it's one to think about and how you can get other services, partners or suppliers to link back to your business page. The third one is what the topic of today's discussion, which is Google My Business listing, which counts for 14% of your ranking success. So that is quite a big chunk. It's the third biggest chunk. So that is its motivation to actually make sure that you are on Google listings and that your information is correct and that you're findable. Then just for interesting sake, we spoke about that the backlinks does not include listings. So listings for local directories counts for 13%, is number 4 on the list of things that make you rank on Google. So if there are local directories for business that you can go onto, it would be a good idea. Important thing to remember there is that always make sure that your Google business information and your listing information are identical, because it will confuse the Google spiders crawling the internet, whether this is the same business or not, and that will definitely also penalize your ranking. For interest's sake, so that we have enough time for questions, the ones remaining, factors remaining, is behavioral click-through. So that is when a customer lands on your page, do they leave immediately or do they click through to the next page and follow the prompts? Now again, that has got to do with whether your page description was correct and relevant to their search, and whether your offering is what they are looking for. If your offering is what they're looking for, it's engaging content, it has strong calls to action, then chances of them clicking through will be better. Otherwise, they might leave immediately. So the more click-throughs you get from people visiting your site, the higher your ranking will be as well. Then reviews counts 8%. So it's not the end of the world if you get one bad review, but it does. Good reviews do contribute 8% to your ranking on Google for local searches, that is. Social media links, 5%. Basically, that is not just so social media. This is to do with, excuse me, to do with the links on your website. That amounts for 5% as well. So the search and the links on your website doesn't seem to appear to count for much. But now remember, the links from your website links to content on from your social media, your own social media platforms, links to content on your web page, which links to click-through. So although it might seem that social media only contributes 5% to local SEO ranking, in the end, it has an impact on your quality of content and your click-through, which are two very important factors. So do not neglect the social media. It's basically, even though it might seem at face value that it isn't such a big factor in local search. Right, that brings us back to the Q&A section. If you'll excuse me while I have a big gulp of water. All right, any questions? Hello?
There's no question at the moment.
Okay.
I'll let you know.
Sorry, I just thought my mic, for some reason, might have gone off.
Not a problem.
Okay, it seems that we don't have any questions. We did supply, okay, there's Ilse now. Ilse can talk. Thank you, Ilse.
No questions, Ilse?
I think your mic.
Is mine fine?
No, yours. I think Ilse's mic is off.
Okay.
in a way.
Sorry, no, I was just wondering if there were any questions. I spoke like a speeding train, thinking
Sorry.
because last week.
If you guys can hear me now, I'm not losing signal here.
Okay, we can hear you, yes.
Yeah, so if you guys just want to put your email addresses in the chat box for us again, so that anybody can contact you if they are here today and they haven't received it yet. So that will be great.
Yeah, any questions, anything that you're unsure of, please contact us. As I also mentioned, we're going to share all 4 presentations with you as a PDF. And this one includes those 2 live links to the Google Help and the Google My Business page if you need to link there directly. And apologies again, I spoke like a speeding train because last week we had such a good Q&A session that I thought we'll have tons of things to discuss afterwards. So I could have gone a bit slower.
It's fine. It's understandable, Richard. It happens to anyone. That's no problem. But yeah, I think just from our side, I just would really want to give you guys, Michelle, Richard, a huge thank you again for all the sessions you've hosted for us. And you really, really shared some great informative, like really great information that I'm thinking everybody will make use of. That's for sure. I actually learned a lot about Google today, which I don't know. So that's always great. So just really, really thank you again.
And thank you so much for inviting us and letting us present. I will be looking out at, if you're in the Johannesburg area, I'll be looking out for your online ads and social media because I seriously need a good grooming when we can get around to that after 2 months.
Oh, I think everybody's waiting for that.
Yeah, just as a last session, thanks very much. It's really great to be part of Demonologica for these 4 weeks, and for us as well to share some knowledge with you guys. I think also, like Richard will agree with social media, things are changing constantly, and you need to really be on top of it in a sense. So always be open to kind of like self-learn and go search for new things that Facebook or Instagram is offering. Yeah, and then I think in essence, almost if you look at all the sessions that we've discussed, if you really just almost from a brand point of view, because it can be quite overwhelming of where to start, it's just to look at your touch points and you as a brand, like just go through that customer journey of where people will search for you and where they will engage with you, and then all the sessions that we've actually discussed will kind of like tick those elements of where you can then amplify yourself. Like if it's Google, then you've kind of learned on Google like where you need to go tick the boxes. On social media, start with your bio, start with having consistency for your brand on all the platforms. Yeah, so if you start with that, it's really a good like an almost network that you'll put out there for your brand, and not to get overwhelmed too quickly. But yeah, if there's any questions, you can like pop us a mail or give us a call. We're more than willing to help still and assist. And yeah, that's everything from my side. So thank you very much.
Thanks, Michelle. I think,
perfect. Thanks so much. And yeah, Richard, do you want to say anything else?
Just yeah, I just want to actually say something in terms of what Michelle just mentioned, is that you should really just go online and try out these things. Is very true. It's just remember, it's not a race, so don't feel overwhelmed if you don't do everything at once and you can't get around to everything. The most important thing is that you also don't overwhelm your business with something that becomes a chore. It should be something that's part of your daily business, and you need to be able to manage these things. Otherwise, they can do more damage. So don't try and bite off more than you can chew. It's, as I said, it's not a race. Just take it one platform at a time and get used to it. And I think the wonderful thing is about all the platforms that we've discussed, whether it's Instagram or Facebook or Twitter or Google, have got really good tutorials and help platforms that actually really try and make it as user-friendly for you to complete and set up your profiles, even though it might seem daunting. Once you go into it and you follow the steps which they provide, it really isn't that daunting. It's actually quite simple. They try their best to make it as easy as possible, And there are also a number of online tutorials provided by the channels themselves or on YouTube that will also help you if you get stuck. Or if you feel that it's too overwhelming to get started, maybe just go have a look at one or two of those just to put your mind at ease that it's not impossible.
That's definitely true what you're saying. But just a big thanks to everyone else that joined in on the session today again as well. And it was great to see everyone, well, virtually. And we'll definitely be in touch again on Thursday, 2 o'clock. Thanks so much, guys.
Thank you to everyone.
Bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.